From the Bob Mills Weather Center, meteorologist Stephen Nehrenz.
As we turn the calendar over to August and move past July, we had a lot of ups and downs in the month of July weather-wise. That generally much of the first half of the month, that fairly cool by July standards, fairly cool and pretty rainy stretch, and then followed it up with the heat wave of the latter half of the month. When you average it all out, we came very close to almost perfectly average temperatures here in Tulsa. Almost the exact same number of days that were at or below normal. The average temperature for the entire month, 0.3 of a degree cooler than average, which basically is, very, very close to almost perfectly normal, perfectly average. Don't do that all that often. And of course, far cry from what our temperatures were like last July. Of course, rainfall amounts were very high in some spots. Not everyone had, just the big time rainfall totals. There were some areas in that 3 to 4 inch range, but we had areas around Pryor and Tahlequah, and even up around Bartlesville, very localized, but up around Bartlesville, they had over 7 inches of rain in the month of July, which helped stem the tide somewhat on drought impacts. The drought is still ongoing in our northern counties, but this did help stem the tide a little bit, and of course made some improvements on the water supply there in Bartlesville. So it was as we talked about for a lot of the month of July before the heat wave settled in, it was an unusually active month of July from a weather standpoint, but we have really settled in to the dog days of summer the last week and a half, and they are still rolling today with the first day of August. Lots of sunshine as we look from Jinx. Now, as many of those high clouds, there are some, but there's not as many of those as we had yesterday, the last few days that tried to, hold those temperatures down a few degrees. There's a look on satellite. Cloud cover a lot thicker off to our east. The storm track the last couple of days, as you've seen on radar, has brought storm complexes from eastern Kansas through Missouri, through portions of Arkansas, but they're further to our east today. So temperatures in the 90s and continuing to climb pretty quickly. Humidity values are also, again, very high. And so that is a nasty combo of heat and humidity for us today. Yesterday, a lot of us held in the upper 90s. Today, though, a good bet that most of us are at or above 100, as high as about 103 around the Tulsa Metro, Sedan, Kansas, Coffeyville, Kansas, 101 to 102, Bartlesville, Pawhuska, about the same. Typically, you get out around Grand Lake and Jay over towards Westfeld. These are the areas that are a few degrees lower than everyone else. So those areas may technically stay just below 100 today, but you're going to be really close, and it's going to feel way hotter than that anyways. Triple digits likely across most of southeastern Oklahoma. Calster, Wilburton, Stigler, all about 101 to 102. Here in the Tulsa Metro, the temperature heat index trend, particularly early this afternoon, noon, 1, 2 o'clock, is when the humidity looks like it's going to be the nastiest. And then we may see the humidity drop a little late in the day. You may not feel it all that much. We think the heat index or the humidity may drop a little late in the day, but we're kind of already cooked, so to speak, at that point with the temperatures, triple-digit temperatures, heat index 110 or above. And look how hot we still are through 8 to 9 o'clock tonight. I mean, we're still in the mid-90s at the 9 p.m. hour. And here's the hour-by-hour heat index trend. This just shows you how slowly we cool off. Heat index brutally high through the afternoon. 7 o'clock this evening, still above 105. 9 o'clock tonight, heat index is still around 100, if not above, in the Tulsa Metro. So that's just one of the other portions of this heat wave that makes things tougher to deal with. Now, our highs are still nowhere near record highs. Our forecasts are here in the yellow. Those red bars are the record highs for the next few days. 112, 113. Those were all set back in 2012 and 2011. So we're not approaching those numbers, thankfully, but the heat wave continues. So the heat dome is with us for the rest of the week. As we've been talking about, by the weekend, it slides back to our west. Now, how far to the west and how much it weakens will determine things as far as how much of a cool down we get. There are some signs that ridge may still be strong enough into Saturday to kind of keep the triple-digit heat going through the first half of the weekend. So as we take you to the 7-day and talk about that weekend relief that's coming, it will be a gradual trend towards it. It's not just going to drop right off a cliff temperature-wise once we get past Friday. You see the triple digits today, tomorrow, Thursday, even Friday, and even Saturday. I do think, unless we have a good amount of showers and storms around, Saturday may be a triple-digit day as well. Then Sunday into Monday, that's when we get a little bit better relief. Some scattered shower and storm chances increase a little bit more, and at least for a couple days, we bring some much better temperatures back to the region. Still several days out, but we're getting a little closer.